My dear, I sat in the room and cried a lot for you, but you never heard me. The pain of loving you in silence echoes louder than my tears. I didn't just cry for us, I cried for the version of you I once knew. Each tear held 1,000 words I never got to say. My heart whispered your name, but you couldn't hear the ache. I cried for a love that never fully bloomed. In that room, I realized the love I gave wasn't enough to save us. The tears were the only language left between us. I sat in that silence, wishing you could feel my heart break. The sorrow I held for you was deeper than words could reach. I sat alone, crying, while the world moved on without us. Every tear was a goodbye I never got to say. I cried because I couldn't fix why us was never meant to be. My dear, those tears are the story of a love that slipped through my fingers. You never saw my tears, but I cried for us both. I cried for what was lost before I even had a chance to hold it. Your absence turned my tears into oceans, and still you didn't return. I cried for the pieces of you that stayed with me. Love shouldn't hurt this much, but here I am, lost in tears. I cried for what we could have been, but you never saw it. I sat in that room and cried, wishing you could feel my love from afar. My tears are the reflection of a love that never knew peace. Each tear I shed carried a prayer for a second chance. I cried for the love you could never truly see. Silence filled the room, but my tears were loud enough to echo forever. I cried, not just for the loss of you, but for the loss of me. My dear, I cried for you, but you never knew how deep my love went. I waited in that room, crying for a love that slipped away like sand. My tears were the only proof that I ever truly loved you. I cried not because of you, but because of what we could have been. I sat and cried for a love that didn't fight back. Every tear was a memory I couldn't keep. The room was silent, but my tears screamed all the words I never could. I cried for all the things we never had the chance to say. I cried not for losing you, but for the part of me that stayed. My heart ached with every tear, but you never noticed. I cried for a love that could have been, but never was. My dear, I sat in that room, broken, waiting for you to feel it too. My tears couldn't heal the wounds you left behind. I cried for the goodbye we never said. I cried, but the world still spun, and you never saw my pain. I cried for us, and you were too blind to feel the weight. My dear, in that room, I poured my heart out with every tear. My tears carried the weight of a love you could never understand. I cried not because I lost you, but because I lost myself in you. I sat in that room, wondering if you ever cried for me the way I did for you. I cried for the love we fought to keep but couldn't save. My heart bled with every tear I shed for you. I cried for the dreams we could have lived but never did. My dear, in that room I cried, hoping you'd feel it too. I cried because you couldn't see how deep my love ran. The room was filled with my tears, but you couldn't hear them calling you. I cried for you, for us, for everything we couldn't hold on to. I sat there crying, wondering if you ever thought of me. I cried for the love that remained trapped inside me. I sat in that room, crying for a future we'll never have. My tears were the only evidence of how much I loved you. My dear, I cried for a love that faded into the past. I cried because you never saw me for all that I was. I cried because my love for you never felt like enough. My dear, I cried for the goodbye that never came. I cried for the silence we shared, the silence that grew louder. My tears spoke the words I was too afraid to say. I cried for the broken parts of me you left behind. I cried in that room because love wasn't enough to keep us together. Every tear felt like an unanswered prayer to bring us back. I sat in that room, crying for the love that slipped away. I cried for the broken dreams we both left behind. My dear, every tear was a testament to the love we lost. I cried for what was and for what could have been. My tears were the echoes of a love you never heard. I cried for the version of you I lost long before you were gone. My dear, I sat in that room, but the tears couldn't change anything. I cried because you never saw the depths of my love. I sat in silence, crying for a love that couldn't find its way back. I cried for the pieces of me that you'll never get to know. My dear, I cried for the love that no longer lived in me. My tears weren't for the past. They were for the future we'll never share. I cried, but you were never there to dry my tears. If this touched your soul, don't scroll, like, comment your favorite quote, and subscribe for more. I cried for the love we tried so hard to save, but couldn't.